Okay, I have a psychological horror game set in a dystopian cyberpunk future created by the same team behind the Silent Hill 2 remake. Oh yeah, and the remastered version looks incredible. Sign me up. I'm Adam Scott, and this is Observer System Redux.
The year is 2084. If they told me what the world would become, I would not have believed them.
Remastering a game just a few years after its initial release isn't the most popular thing. On the one hand, the remaster provides a definitive way to experience a game, whether a graphical facelift, improved gameplay, or content complete. On the other hand, remasters are often seen as a cynical cash grab, trying to milk a game for all it's worth. Developed by Bloober Team, Observer was originally released in 2017, and the remastered version, called Observer System Redux, was released only 3 years later for PC and current and last-gen Xbox and PlayStation consoles. This version added new story content, revamped graphics, upgraded textures and lighting, as well as making good use of PS5's DualSense controller. Set 50 years in the future, Poland is on the brink of collapse after a digital plague called the nanophage has ravaged society, resulting in war, rampant drug use, and costing countless lives, further dividing the haves from the have-nots. After Chiron, a mega-corporation took control of Poland and manifested the Fifth Polish Republic, a police unit known as Observers was put in control of the denizens with license to hack their minds. Those addicted to drugs and holograms were branded Class C and cast off to live in tenement buildings. These rundown hovels are bleak and dangerous places and where you'll spend most of your time in the game.
She'll smile.
You play as an observer, Dan Lazarski.
Mike Wazowski!
No, Dan Lazarski, played by the late Rutger Hauer, who receives a frantic call from his estranged son, Adam. Fearing the worst, you track his call to a Class C building and race over to help him. It's here that the nightmare begins, as you discover a gruesome crime scene with multiple dead bodies, but no sign of your son. The building is then locked down, giving serious dread vibes.
I am the law!
Not that dread.
Offense noted.
Right. And now you have to use your ability to hack the minds of the residents, both alive and dead, to solve the crimes, find your son, and free yourself from the oppressive prison. The game tackles themes of consciousness, the existence of the soul, and authority over our own thoughts, with clear influences from Blade Runner, Cyberpunk 2020, and George Orwell's 1984, but still feels distinct. The many unexplained mysteries create a richness to the world and in how the story unfolds. Your choices have consequences, creating different outcomes that'll have you constantly questioning whether you made the right decision. Every scene is charged with tension and the anticipation of what's lurking just out of view. Observer takes a less is more approach that kept me on the edge of my seat while I searched the maze-like building and questioned suspects, proving you don't need some big evil villain to create fear. The stillness and emptiness can be just as scary, and Observer builds this into its gameplay perfectly. A step up in interactivity from Layers of Fear, Bloober Team perfectly balances the story and gameplay mechanics, for the most part. Resting somewhere between walking simulator and first-person action, the gameplay in Observer focuses on exploration, puzzle solving, and stealth, with the occasional running like hell. The oppressive Class C building is a horrific place to explore. You'll use your augmentations to scan rooms and examine objects to find clues. This is easier said than done. Often the interactable objects are hard to see, so you'll have to be methodical in your approach. If you miss something crucial, you could be wandering around aimlessly. And I didn't hate this design, since it really forced you to be thorough in your investigation. But I would have welcomed something that indicated you missed something in a room.
Subject approved. Commencing neural interrogation.
While most of your time is spent in the claustrophobic and oppressive confines of the tenement building, Mindjacking allows you to escape for a short time. Here, you'll see through the eyes of each interrogated resident, experiencing their broken mind to uncover deeper truths. These David Lynch-inspired dreamlike sequences are atmospheric masterpieces with some of the best surreal imagery in any game, period. You can't technically die for most of the game, but when in someone else's mind, you're in grave danger. And this is the one glaring exception to the otherwise great gameplay. It's these bizarre and tedious stealth sections that feel shoehorned and completely unnatural against everything else. Clunky stealth with instant death, forcing you to replay again and again, isn't exactly the pinnacle of fun. I got what Bloober Team was trying to do, but the execution missed the mark here. Instead of creating fear and tension, they were frustrating and felt like they didn't belong. Fortunately, these moments are few and far between, but yet they still stick in your mind. Standing out for the right reasons are the visuals and atmosphere. Just take a look. There is absolutely no question about how incredible this game looks. It's like a beautifully horrific museum where you can mostly look but not touch. The detail and diversity in each environment demands you take your time, slowly soaking everything in. The original was a creepy sight to behold, but Observer System Redux is a masterpiece, improving the visuals in nearly every way, with more detailed environments, better textures, and improved character models, and the overall lighting added depth and realism to everything. From the decrepit living spaces to rooms full of human body parts, you'll be immersed in the subtle and explicit stories told in each location. The stunning futuristic imagery is masterfully delivered and complements the dystopian world. The claustrophobic labyrinthine building creates tension as your mind plays tricks on you. The visuals are complemented with impeccable audio design. Each space sounds distinct and real, enveloping you in a soundscape that is haunting, backed by a score composed by Arkadiusz Rykowski, infused with choral, diegetic, and ambient music that's the cherry on top of the oral sundae. I have to mention the vocal performance of the legendary actor Rutger Hauer in one of his final roles. Expertly cast as the gruff and gravelly observer who's pitch perfect in conversations and through his inner monologue.
You see, without a willing host, I need to force you out. Sorry, Dad.
Equal parts determined and hopeless, he sounds like he's seen things you wouldn't believe. And the game is better for his inclusion.
Quantum physics tells us that nothing that is observed is unaffected by the observer.
For completionists, it's not overly punishing to get 100%. There isn't combat or a difficulty selection, so you'll be focused mostly on interacting with objects, talking to the other characters, and finding all of the collectibles. You'll be searching for more than 70 nanophage cards, a handful of patient recordings, some radio-controlled cars, and even roses that have been mysteriously left behind at weird spots. You'll also need to beat all levels of an arcade game you'll find on computers throughout. And yes, if you want to 100% the game, you'll need to collect everything during a single run, since collectibles don't carry over when you start a new game. Oh yeah, and you can't die in the mindjacking sections. With the array of dialogue choices and never knowing if you've made the right one, there's a good bit of replayability to see how situations can play out differently. It'll take you around 10 hours to do everything. If the future is anything like Observer System Redux, you can count me out. Where you're a cog in an oppressive machine, grinding you until there's nothing left. Where the rich watches the poor fight for scraps like rats. It's genuinely creepy at times with some very dark imagery, but the horror comes from the feeling that this is a possible future. I thoroughly enjoyed this dystopian vision, and the presentation was so well done that you can't help but get lost in it. I can't stress enough what a work of art this experience is through its narrative, richly realized world, and brilliant sound design. This remaster gets it right, and is worth observing.
One more of these, and I'd die.
Okay, you've heard my take on Observer System Redux, and I'd love to hear yours as well. Also, what's your favorite dystopian future? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit like and subscribe, and if you want another game that you haven't played, check out my video right here. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.